Happy Wisdom Wednesday, Coaster Crew. Today I'm going to walk you through how to properly set up for your bench press. Some people have been having issues with this, and if you are inconsistent with your bench press setup, it's going to affect how successful you are at the bench press. So let's first talk about the bench positioning, because that is a piece of equipment that we use. So we want to center the bench along the bar and the rack. If you're off to one side, it's just going to be wonky when you unrack it and re-rack it. Second, you don't want the bench too far back or too far forward, because that kind of dictates your head placement, and we know that we want our eyes directly underneath the bar when we lay down onto our backs. We want that positioning because if we're too far back, when we unrack the bar and we go to press it back up, we're probably going to hit the rack, right? Because it's over us, it's in our path, it's in our bar path. Conversely, if we're too far forward, that is a lot more distance that our bar has to cover to get to our chest, and it's just really awkward and uncomfortable. So that's bench placement. Let's talk about hand placement. We want to be a full thumb's distance away from where it turns smooth to rough, so where the knurling starts. That's usually what's most comfortable for people. The closer your hands are, the more tricep you're using. The further your hands are, the more chest you're using. And let's be real, our chests are bigger than our triceps. So we want kind of that middle ground. And really make it a big thumb. Like some people will kind of like half do it, and like the first knuckle, that's not your thumb. Like stretch your thumb out and put your hand, that's where it goes. And then wrap your thumbs around the bar. So that's our hand positioning. So we know our eyes are under the bar, our hands are a thumb's distance away from the knurling. Let's talk about bar height. Some people feel uncomfortable if it seems like it's too high because they don't think that they can unrack it. So then they put it one notch below. But the problem with putting it a notch below is to unrack it, you're essentially doing like a half rep to get the bar out of the rack. We want the rack to be just shorter than an arm's length. That way when you go to unrack it, you're here, it's just a little push, and boom, you're set. So I have my bar set at 10. I highly encourage you guys to try it out at 10. A lot of you guys go at 11, and I just think it's too short for you. So when you come down, I want my shoulders down and back. I'm gonna lay down onto my back. I'm gonna adjust so my eyes are directly under the bar. Shoulders are still tight. Hands go a thumb's distance away. And you'll notice as I lift off, it goes just over the rack. That way when I come down to my chest, it has a nice smooth bar path, straight up and down, and when I go to re-rack, I can just go backwards and then down the rep. So that's body positioning on the bench press. We also want to think about having our head, upper back, and butt always touching the bench. Okay, that's going to keep us grounded. We also want our feet flat on the ground. Now I know some of you can't get into that position without pain or like super compensating by flaring your ribs. That's when we kind of address maybe bringing a plate and putting it under your feet. But we want those feet grounded because, believe it or not, the bench is a full body exercise. We want to engage our core, we want to screw our feet into the floor and stay nice and tight. So that is set up on the bench. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask any one of the coaches. We're happy to answer them for you. And I really want you guys next time we bench to think about moving the rack up onto the 10 level on our racks instead of the 11. It will feel very weird and you're probably gonna say, I can't even unrack it. That's what a spotter's for, okay? It's gonna help you out in the long run. You're not gonna be doing these half reps. So that's the bench press.